Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. All right, yesterday we had a update with Victor on his book and a little bit of other stuff. Also, I did an upload regarding Montana, the cryptids that have been spotted in there, the canine cryptids, excuse me, and a possible government cover-up. Today, I am going to look at a couple other nifty little things that I'd like to share. I'm pretty fascinated by it, so I'm hoping you are. Before we get into that, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook version, written by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. They're available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, and the links to those are in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have definitely taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Alright guys, yesterday when I did the upload about the Montana canine cryptids, I touched basis on the Mccone County creature. I'm going to dive into that a little bit today. Also, that upload yesterday or last night was inspired by talking to Victor and the possible cover-up on April 15th to the 17th, but that weekend was also unreported encounter, well, unreported to the newspaper and the public, but reported to the DNR and sheriff. And they pretty much, what they did was they went in and cleaned up the scene. A family, not family, but a husband and wife, I believe one kid or whatever, camping in an old school bus converted into a camper. The backside was ripped out. The gentleman that was there was able to get to his firearm. I believe he fired off 2 or 3 shots, and the creature took off. They said it was a bear. The back of the bus was ripped apart, like ripped off. We're not talking like axle and stuff like that. We're just, the sheet metal part. So there is something going on in Montana. I mean, the Shunkawarrican, the Mccone County creature, and then the 2008 dire wolf / Dogman / whatever the heck that thing was. So, but I just wanted to kind of, I found a very interesting write-up on the Mccone County creature, and I wanted to share that with you, along with a couple of other really fascinating reports on some canine cryptids. Today's first part of the upload, the creature from Mccone County. The creature, whatever it is, came out of Montana's own Mccone County, wandering from the rough breaks in Timber Creek, just south of Big Dry Arm of Fort Peck Reservoir and the C.M. Russell Wildlife Refuge. Where it wandered before that, Canada or North Dakota, nobody knows. Since December of 2005, it has struck 6 herds of sheep belonging to stockmen in Mccone and Garfield County, killing 36 ewes and injuring 71, many of which will succumb to their wounds. It leaves a track like a wolf, dog, or wolf hybrid, but its killing habits are insufficient. Nothing like the surgical lethality of a wolf taking meat from a herd of domestic sheep. Coyotes, those that survive here in the gauntlet of traps and aerial gunnery, and the cyanide getters kill a lot of sheep every year, but nothing like this. This creature is a traveler, and it is not always alone, though its companion leaves a smaller track still, adding to the mystery. Where it is stopped to kill over an area of more than 100 square miles, it has created a fury, one that is not entirely directed at the creature itself. The stockmen here know full well how to handle that problem, but at a federal and government level, the complex regulations imposed to protect an animal that they despise, and at a faraway society that seems to have lost all respect for them in their constant struggle to remain self-reliant, solvent, and on the land. I discovered the devastation on January 12th, said Jim Whitesides, who was keeping a flock of 720 sheep in a half-section holding pasture right at the corner of Mccone and Garfield County, waiting for drier weather before he moved them onto a grazing allotment on BLM land. It was terribly warm weather and mud, and when I got there, the sheep all were milling around on a ridge. I called them all down, and as they came close, it just looked like they had been attacked. Blood everywhere, their hams bitten, plugs taken out like a lemon, and of course, then there were some lying around dead. Whitesides would have 21 dead ewes in that bunch and 39 injured. He estimates that the attacks have cost him over $19,000, an almost ruinous blow. I've seen some terrible coyote damage, but nothing like this. Whitesides has spent his life running cattle and sheep in the Missouri Breaks country. In his speech there is a slight but distinct barrage explained by the fact that his mother came from eastern Montana from Scotland in 1906. His father came to the area in 1912. His parents would have seen the last of the wolves in eastern Montana. Everybody has relatives who claim to have been in on the last wolf killed around here, Whiteside said. And it must have been around 1920 when they finally got them out of here. They had to, if they were going to raise stock. In this lifetime, he said, he has never had to think about a wolf, and has paid little attention to the conflict over reintroducing wolves to Yellowstone. That wasn't in my realm, and I couldn't imagine all the fuss over it. We always take a lot of losses, normally under 100 head a year, but it's always coyote. The battle against coyotes is conducted by stockmen with the help of 2 full-time trappers who work Garfield County for federal wildlife service agencies. We have a very good program here, Whiteside says, and we couldn't raise livestock without it. The confusion over the identity of the animal that has rampaged through Whiteside's sheep started at another kill site back in late December, deeper in Mccone County. Mike McKeever took a severe hit on his sheep herd sometime on the night after Christmas. At first it appeared that only 2 ewes had been killed, but closer inspection found 15 more ewes that had been attacked but not killed. 10 of them would die to their wounds. By December 28th, the McKeevers had found 5 more ewes killed. Mike McKeever called the local predator control contractor, a pilot named Jeff Skyberg, to see what could be done. Now the plot thickens. Mccone County is one of the 5 eastern Montana counties that, about 12 years ago, became disgusted with the Federal Predator Control Agency and decided to take the job over themselves by hiring private contractors. But that was before there were any wolves in Montana or any regulations to protect them. Faced with the carnage at McKeever's ranch, Skyberg called the wildlife service agents to help him decide what to do. The men looked at 2 sets of tracks and agreed that they had to be made by some sort of wolf hybrid rather than a true wolf. The messiness of the attacks suggested domestic dogs as well. The whole lot of killing instinct untampered by skill. The agents reported the attacks to the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, which has taken the responsibility of managing wolves since an agreement was reached with the Federal Wildlife Agency. The federal funding became available early in 2005. Wolves are, for now, still listed as an endangered species, and the FWP makes its decisions between the guardrails of the federal policy. As Caroline Sim, who directs the wolf program for the FWP, describes it, wildlife service agents called Sim and told her that the problem in Mccone County was domestic dogs on a rampage. Since dogs that kill stock are fair game for anybody with a weapon, it seemed as though the problem would soon be solved. Then, on January 12th, Whitesides found his sheep attacked. The next day, reports came in from sheep killings. McClarick Ranch in northeast Garfield County. In the pasture within sight of his house, John McClarick found, according to an account in the Jordan Tribune, lambs with meat, hide, and wool dragged on the ground, their insides torn out and their front leg on one torn away. 10 were dead and 8 were still going. He found 2 more dead, and a 100 to 110 pound lamb, it was actually a wether, had been eaten and dragged in a 20 diameter circle. Whatever killed that sheep had stayed in the area for a long time, leaving a lot of tracks. We had an overflow from the water tank that was frozen and held the snow, and he sauntered around all over on that ice, McClarick said. I don't know what he was doing all that time. Like Whitesides, McClarick has no experience with predation at that level he witnessed that morning. The tracks are bigger than anything I've ever seen before. We've never had anything like this. My parents lived just south of here, and in 1923 my dad had a little horse, and the wolves found him and hamstringed him, killed him. But that was about the last wolf in this part of county. The Wildlife Service agents had investigated, still figured the mess at McClarick's was the work of domestic dogs, so nobody called Carolyn Sim from FWP to tell her about the incident. On February 6th, Jeff Skyberg and his gunner, Les Thomas, were flying in Skyberg's plane, gunning coyotes as part of their contract for predator control for Mccone County and trying to find the stock killing dogs, and were lost somewhere in the immense roll of prairie in Jagged County below them. On the ridge below them, they saw what they thought was pretty sure was a wolf. We got a call from the Wildlife Services saying that Skyberg had a wolf in his sights in Mccone, and could he go ahead and kill it, said Carolyn Sim. I could not just issue them a kill permit to go out and kill whatever wolves were there. It would be illegal. We had no reports of wolves' kills from there, and the attacks did not fit the pattern of a wolf kill. I said no, but Sim and others in FWP office knew that the denial would infuriate Skyberg and the ranchers in the 2 counties. The anger is easy to understand, Sim said. A government agent has just kept you from doing your job. Jeff exercises tremendous restraint, and I know he's mad. But I couldn't legally do it. There is no such thing as a no-wolf zone in Montana, no matter what people think. The FWP went into a huddle, Sim said first, with the possibility of federal delisting the wolf from the Federal Endangered Species Act looming. It is imperative that they remain within the law. So far, Montana's painstakingly achieved wolf management plans are a kind of blueprint for what seems like a balanced management approach for wolves. The plan has been approved by the Federal Wildlife Agency, while Wyoming's plan, which calls for treating the wolves as vermin away from national parks, cannot be approved, and has so far been the leading obstacle to taking the animal off the endangered species list. Sim and her office were in an odd spotlight and would shine far ahead into derailing and delisting process if they just went ahead and did what the ranchers wanted to do. We stuck our necks out, and we authorized the Wildlife Services to take the wolf, even though it was technically illegal. During the huddle and the subsequent back and forth, though, the creature disappeared back into the maze of scrub pine and brakes. Attacks and the killings, one sheep and injuring another in Garfield County over the weekend of February 18th, are believed to be the work of that animal. Then the animal, or one very like it, appeared March 11th, about 50 miles away, on a ranch northwest of Jordan. According to Jordan Tribune, rancher Clifford Highland and his grandson, Ryan Murnon, saw the animal. It was eating a carcass of an ewe. We saw the wolf for approximately 30 seconds at 350 yards away. Highland said Murnon shot at the animal, but it escaped into the brakes. Carolyn Sim and her team authorized permits for ranchers who suffer losses and the Wildlife Service in Garfield County to kill the wolf or hybrid if it is seen again in acting of an attack livestock, but The level of frustration among the ranchers and communities remain high. There seems to be no legal way, for instance, for a freelance predator control contractor in Mccone County to kill a wolf if they encounter it. And the animal's range is wide. The permits issued to the ranchers who have suffered losses seem to be so little. Other ranchers were there where no permits would surely be hit soon. Again, people asked why could anybody who saw the thing not just kill it. Funny thing is that the Mccone County creature was thought to be a Shunkaworkin, or there was a newspaper article saying Mccone County creature, is it a wolf or a werewolf, and where did it come from? So, I mean, Montana is just, creepy. So, who knows? Not creepy. The whole state isn't creepy. I'm just saying this is creepy. So if there's anyone from Montana, please don't come and kill me. Because I'd love to go and see your beautiful state. Actually, since I've been doing this channel, talking to everyone and learning more and more about different states, different counties, different this, different that. I would love to hit every state except Hawaii, just because it's a small little rock that's in the middle of the ocean with a volcano, and knowing my luck, I'd get trapped on it and the volcano would burst and burn me alive. But anyway, so is the Shunkaworkin the Dogman? We don't know. Is the dire wolf still around? We don't know. Do I think so? Sure do. Do you think so? I don't know. Maybe. Chances are, sure you do. But who knows? I mean, there's just so much out there. And that's why this whole thing is fascinating. And I love it, and I will always love it. And you know, I really think that I've decided that I'm just going to focus on some things. Focus on my channel, not focus on all the people talking smack about me and this and that. Because they don't have any proof to back their shit up. And nor do I. It's just theory, right? So what makes them right? What makes me wrong? What makes me right? What makes them wrong? I don't claim anybody's wrong. So, I don't know. But that's a little something. Moving on. Today's second part of the upload is just terrifying to me. They were absolutely huge. Wolves attack in northern Saskatchewan as animals lose fear of humans. This took place in September of 2016. From the dining hall, it sounded like a fight, a midnight scuffle between feuding workers at a Cigar Lake uranium mine. The security guard hopped into her vehicle to break it up, and for a split second, her headlights illuminated a scene that was anything but a fistfight. A wolf with its jaws around the neck of the 26-year-old kitchen worker. The truck's arrival spooked the wolf away, and the security guard, who has declined media interviews, sprang out to provide first aid. An adult gray wolf can easily bite through even the thickest moose bones. A freshly human neck provides little obstacle. A few more seconds, the worker likely would have been dead instead of recuperating in the hospital. A single wolf basically pounced on him, was what mine representatives have told the press. Wolf attacks aren't supposed to happen this way, but wolves don't exactly act as expected in northern Saskatchewan. On a very rare occasion in North America, a wolf bites a human. The animal is usually rabid or surprised. A hiker startled a wolf feeding on a moose carcass, for instance. But this wolf had apparently lain in wait for the young mining camp worker. The whole incident is unusual, very unusual. Paul Packett, a renowned mammal biologist who works with the Rain Coast Conservation Foundation and is also providing wolf consultation for Cameco, the owners of the Cigar Lake mine. The average Canadian hunter can spend their entire life in the wilderness without spotting a wolf. That's why nature writers usually describe the wolves with such adjectives as elusive, shy, or secretive. But at Cigar Lake, Facebook posts have documented wolves following hikers, wolves making themselves visible. Several workers have reported having wolves tail their work crews and keep watch on them from distant ridgelines. They are absolutely huge. They have no fear of man and come into job sites often at night, said former Cigar Lake worker S.J. Rao in a message to the National Post. His closest encounter was having a wolf foul him across a frozen lake. Is anyone thinking what I'm thinking on that? It's just not like... maybe I'm maybe I've got the tin foil hat on a little tight today, but just that article, you've got a wolf, quote unquote wolf, Dogman, lying in wait to spring on a worker, so this wolf watched this guy probably for a couple of weeks to know his routine, probably taking out the garbage, spring on him. Wolves don't do that. Dogman do. They're very methodical. They plan. They really do plan. They're almost like militaristic. They wow, this is crazy. So, maybe the tinfoil hat's on tight, but I really think that, it's evident right here. This thing lied in wait for this guy to come out, probably to bring the garbage out or a smoke break or something. Boom, got him. Okay. Then you've got wolves following workers, staring at them on... Wolves don't do that. I don't care what anyone says. I've never seen, heard anything about this, and I've read a lot. This has Dogman all over it. All over it. Moving on. Today's last part of the upload, one of my favorite cryptid stories, cryptid experiences, encounter is the Beast of Bladenborough. Actually, I have a print on my studio wall. I'm staring at it. It's an artist rendition of the Bladenborough Beast. And it's got a map of where it was with some newspaper clippings. It's a beautiful little picture. I've always been fascinated with that story because there's just so much. It's like the Great Dismal Swamp is there. There's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of factors. This one's very interesting. It appears the Beast of North Carolina, a monster blamed for dozens of blood-draining animal corpses, is back on the prowl and hungrier than ever. In 1953, the Bladenborough newspaper covered a story about a strange creature that had been blamed for the deaths of numerous dogs, draining them of their blood. Local eyewitnesses who spotted the beast claimed it possessed the body of a bear, the head of a cat, and that when it opened its mouth to growl, it made a sound of a woman screaming. The original newspaper article stirred up quite a bit of controversy, so much in fact that groups of farmers from neighboring towns came to Bladenborough to hunt and kill the creature. They never did track the beast down, and fortunately for them, the killings eventually stopped on their own. The bizarre animal started again in 2003, only this time it seemed the creature had broadened its horizons and now was killing a 150-mile radius beyond Bladenborough. During its second blood run, this Beast of North Carolina has managed to slay even the bulkiest of pit bulls with ease, and many Bladenborough residents claim to have found strange tracks around their dead pets, and even wildlife biologists cannot explain. And then, much like 1953, the killings stopped, just as quickly as they started, until 2013. According to a report by paranormal investigator Thomas Byers, June 15, 2013, Bladenborough, North Carolina resident Misty Turner and her son Tyler contacted local police after something visited their farm in the dead of night, killing 3 of their horses and a large bull mastiff dog. Misty's son, Tyler, found the horses after the barking dog had alerted the family to the fact that something was sulking around their property. The dog continued to bark for quite some time, obsessed with the dense wooded area along the farm. Arriving police and veterinarians were shocked to discover that the horses had died from very deep puncture wounds in the neck. Even more shocking was that it seemed that the purpose of the marks were to allow the blood to be drained. The horses were also reported to have been wet with sweat, almost as if they had been running hard to avoid whatever was chasing them. The following evening, much to Turner's dismay, their dog was also killed in the exact same fashion, 2 puncture wound marks in the neck, found with the blood drained. Misty claims to have seen the thing that killed her animals. It was running from the lifeless body of her pet. Her description matched the creature's description in the same eyewitnesses' reports from 1953. That story has just the Bladenboro beast, the beast of Bladenboro. There was one such story that supposedly they actually cornered the creature up on a cliff, and as these people were down below, it let out that womanly shriek, and it stood on its hind legs and pushed or threw a rock off the cliff, and it almost hit, or it was a tire or something. Something was thrown, and yeah, man, that is just, if I could pick like 10 of my, not favorite, because it's kind of weird to say favorite cryptid attacks or experiences or encounters, but I guess I'm pretty weird. 10 of my favorite experiences to go and check out, Bladenboro would be one of them, if not in the top 5, because it's just, Rougarou definitely up there in Louisiana, the Ozark Howler. I mean, there's just so many, just, and honestly, if you sit down and you think about, just the things that seem the most logical as you're reading them, but then you think back to what you really know about this and that, it's just like, kind of all goes out the window when you start thinking about these things. So, I don't know. My brain works in a different way sometimes, and sometimes I wish it didn't work that way. But, who knows? Anyway, guys, I really appreciate all your support. I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I think within the next couple of days, I'm just going to sit and kind of do like a theory checklist maybe, and just do an upload talking theory, and then maybe leave the comment section just wide open for you guys to express your theories. I did the other day offer or suggest that people do some research on their native traditions around them, and I have a hard time with comment sections because of the trolls, but if you guys do that and you guys find something really cool with native folklore around your area, even if you're not Native American, it's just very interesting to learn, especially around your area, and regardless if you think you know everything, you really don't, because it's just too hard to know everything. But if you guys come across, like, if you're anywhere in the country and you just do it, and you find some really neat folklore or lore or traditions that have anything to do with cryptids or kind of the paranormal mother nature creator way, email me instead of doing it in the comments, because I really don't get into the comment section often. besides just throw a heart out once in a while. I did have a female subscriber who emailed me, and her ancestry actually has some tribal land down in Lakota land, in that area, but also the majority of Alaska. And I'm looking forward to talking with her. I've got her phone number, email. I've just got to find some time in the day to do that, because it's either during the day I'm checking on my dad, making sure everything's good with him, helping my mom, taking care of the kid with school. Man, I can't wait until that whole COVID crap is done and they can go back to school. Jeez, I'm crow. But anyway, getting off topic here. I don't like doing that. Just if you do, please email me, because I'd love to learn more. I truly do. Like, I say it a couple times. I've said it a couple times, but there was a thesis about the Ojibwe, and I read it, and it was so long, but it was so interesting, and it blew me away. And they were talking about, not all of it, but there was a lot of mention of the bear walker, which is similar to the skinwalker. And then, ironically enough, I think it's the Cree, I believe the Cree, the Wendigo, which is my culture, the Mohawk, Algonquin, Huron, this, that, First Nation. They actually, in their legal system, use the term, not the Wendigo, but it's like the Wekigo or something like that. I don't really know how properly to pronounce it, but as a legal term for like crime, like a crime committed. So that's pretty crazy too. Just interesting stuff that, you don't really know until you know. And then you look it up and you're like, whoa, that's cool. So now I'm just spewing nothing. Anyway, moving on. I hope you guys enjoyed today as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you guys for all the support and listening to me every day. You guys really make this worth it. You guys make my day every day, honestly. Knowing that you guys are listening to me, and like, even though we're not together, I get a smile every day thinking about my channel and thinking about all of you. So thank you very much. You don't even know how much this channel and how much you guys have improved my life. So may the Great Spirit watch over you and guide you through all of your paths of life. See ya!